Welcome back to Beyond the Bot, where we're bringing you the latest and greatest from Automate and explaining how it can help your business today. I'm here with Alan from Schneider. Alan, thank you so much for joining me. Can you tell our audience just a little bit about who you are and what your role is at Schneider?
Sure, thank you. I'm Alan, and I manage Schneider Electric's digital factory offerings for the United States, which includes motion robotics, process automation technology, digital twins, all of our advanced technology for industrial facilities.
And we know that Schneider is this massive company that does a lot of things really, really well. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of how Schneider got involved in the robotic and automation space in the first place?
Well, sure. Schneider Electric invented the first PLC in 1968 with Bob Morley, and that carried us through a whole legacy of technology, and now we're into Gen AI, co-pilots, and software-defined automation. So it started in 68 and just moved all the way up.
So before we get into the exciting things you guys are doing
Sure.
with generative AI, I want to take a step back and look at kind of the automation industry
Sure.
overall. What are some of the trends that excite you the most that you're seeing across the board right now?
Well, what I like to see is the flexible manufacturing. Today we're at an event where there's lots of cobots and robotics and articulated robots, and that's one of the major trends. But there are other trends. There's trends on AI, there's trends on digital twins that have been in the automotive and aircraft industries, but now they're in the robotics industries. Okay, they simulate engineering, reduce engineering time 50%, commissioning times 30%, and they're great for, we have one here with virtual reality showing how it's working in the industry.
Oh, well, we got to make sure we see that one
Absolutely,
as well.
absolutely.
So there's been so much advancement, so much growth in this space. It's oftentimes hard for folks to keep up. What are some of the biggest kind of roadblocks to adoption that you're seeing, across the board for customers that maybe could benefit from robotics and automation, but why are they not already using it?
Well, what I've experienced is that there are many customers that are not leveraging enough the system integrators, which have the experience on what works and what doesn't work. So you can imagine you have a company that says, hey, I'd like to automate somehow, right? But there are a dozen different types of robotic systems, okay? So they try and they buy one robot and they find out that's not really what I want. So instead of bringing a consultant and an expert in that knows which one to use for which type of application, they try and get one and they'll find out you have a cobot sitting in a corner not being used. So leverage the system integrators who have that experience. They know the business cases. They know how to make that financial return on investment, and they have that engineering experience.
So then I got to ask you, what makes a good system integration partner? What should folks look for when they go to kind of evaluate these integrators?
Best integrators are the ones that, if you're, let's say, an end user, so you have a manufacturing facility, you need to have one that is experienced in the type of facility and production that you're doing. So if you're in food and beverage, or if you're in medical, or if you're in chemical, or if you're in water, make sure you get someone who is experienced in that area. The good thing is most integrators come from those end user customers, and that's how they created their business. Right. So you have to go to the right one, right? And they usually form the business. Sometimes they're small, sometimes they're large, but they have that experience. Okay, so get someone that knows your industry.
Okay, well, so now that we have all the good best practices, yes, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see folks make in kind of pursuing automation?
Typically, they have not thought through enough how it will be used, how their employees need to be trained. What are some of the hurdles, because they used to use, let's say, ladder logic for programming of PLC, and now people are using structured text. So the industry has evolved its programming languages over the years, and they have not thought through all these things. Training, support, the experience in making the business cases, which technology needs to be applied. And some of the companies, if they're very large, they may have that experience, but the small and medium ones need to leverage that kind of experience from these integrators who have that to help them do that digital transformation, that robotics transformation.
I think that's so interesting because on its face, that sounds like a technical problem, but it really, as you're describing it, feels more like a people problem, a training problem, and a knowledge gap.
Yeah, it's a business management leadership issue where you have to think about all of your functional areas in your company, what has to be transformed just to deliver that new product or solution. And technology is changing so fast. As I say, we're going to talk about Gen AI soon. It's coming like a snowstorm here, and it's going through multiple steps. It's going to evolve over the years. So what I'm finding is that even if you go to an integrator, you need to make sure, do they have software engineers? Do they have people that have been trained in AI? Do they have mechatronics people who have taken that engineering domain in university? Are they bringing those people on board? So part of the issue as well is we have typical control engineers who have been there for many years, but it's transforming. You need to have other disciplines. So from younger people, when you're going to school, it's not just mechanical engineering and control engineering anymore. It's mechatronics. You need to understand G-code. You need to understand things that you wouldn't think about, 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
So there's lots of opportunity for computer science people. People know AI. People know digital twins and love that software and programming. So don't be afraid of it. Embrace it all.
Well, we've danced around it enough. I know you guys have some exciting things on the generative AI front. Can you give me a little bit of backstory as to what's happening there?
Okay, sure. So everybody has learned about AI. You've got OpenAI, you've got ChatGPTs, you've got Microsoft Copilots and all that, and Google and everything else, right? So that's all great. It's public domain. You can paste code in there and you can generate something. It's available for everyone, okay? So Schneider has taken that to the next step, all right? So we have our software platforms and software suites, like our open software-defined automation platform. We have libraries for all of our technology, meaning hardware pieces that they're in there. And so the difference is that if you're a company, let's say you're an OEM, you want to design that offline. You don't want your code sitting on the public internet, okay?
Right.
So we now take that and put it offline and allow you to design, test, create, and validate, and understand your code without it being on the open space. Plus, all of our hardware, okay? All the libraries we have is now embedded into the AI platform. So when you're saying, I want a pump storage application for, let's say, a pack drive or a specific PLC, it knows exactly those PLCs, exactly the features and functions that are available in those PLCs.
Wow.
So when it's creating the code, it's real code, not stuff that you've learned on the open internet, can have errors in it.
Right.
Okay. Plus, we can test it. So lots of engineers love to design code. Okay. So that's awesome. You can still do that. You can paste it in the Copilot, and then you can see it can check, it can test and simulate it, and it can generate error reports, and it can help you correct it, and then you go back and test it again. And then before you ever deploy it, we have things like a digital twin that we'll see. And that allows you to do simulation. It allows you to engineer the product, simulate it before you ever apply any hardware. So it's got all this nice software, new technology used.
So many exciting things going on there. I want to make sure that everything from a little bit of it sounds like retrieval augmented generation, kind of AI code editing, and then straight vibe coding is what it sounds like to a certain extent. Can you just walk me through? I want to make sure I understand correctly. How does that work? If I sit down to actually use that program, I'm pulling up a Copilot interface, and then I'm entering in, basically make the robot pick up all the blue bottles, or what does the user story look like?
Sure. So basically, most people, engineers, will have 2, 3 monitors to use it. So you have a Copilot on one, you have your software that is actually got the that's programming the other side. You generate your code on one side, you copy and paste it into the software, and then it can simulate it. And then you have your digital twin over here, and your digital twin can simulate it and test it before you ever buy your hardware.
Wow.
So it's like an all environment.
So I know you guys have a lot of other exciting things happening on the software front as well. I've seen on signs everywhere this EcoStruxure Automation Expert. Can you tell me what that is and what the backstory is there?
Okay, so the backstory to EcoStruxure Automation Expert, it's an open software-defined automation platform. And we took input from our customers who are wanting multi-vendor, meaning they don't just want to use Schneider Electric hardware. They may want to use one of our peers' hardware, okay? And today, that's not available, but now it is, okay? So we now have a software platform that can use third-party products. We can integrate them, okay? And so that's one of the main values for it. And it's a process control. It does discrete and hybrid applications. Not only can it simulate the whole process control, but actually configure all the products. Our Copilot is embedded inside Automation Expert, so it's a complete journey for the customer.
That's incredible. Alan, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me, and look forward to catching up with you again soon and following all the awesome things that Schneider has to offer.
Okay, that's great, Tony. Thank you
so
very much.
I appreciate it.
So this is our EcoStruxure Automation Expert Platform, and this is the co-pilot for Gen AI that's embedded inside. Okay, so what we can do here is we can ask it to write code for, let's say, an application like a point-to-point application with a specific library, and it will generate the code. Okay, what it can also do is if the engineer has written their own code, you can also paste it in, and then you can verify and test and simulate and look for errors as well. So it has references. It also explains how the code works. So it comes through here. After the code is pasted in, it'll give you diagrams of how the code is, the logic in the code is working. It explains different code blocks in the code. So the mouse is gone here. 1 second. There we go. And then for all of the libraries and things you've used, we have references that you can refer to make sure you're accessing the right things. Now, if I go back to the top, we can actually test this code. And this is the same. I've already pasted this in. So the code is pasted in, does a test generation. So it can either look for errors if you've written your own code, or it can actually go through and test the process that you've created with the code. All right? So it goes through and validate that process, and that's what you're seeing down here in the test case. And that is just the beginning part of it. If you want to see our digital twin, you can go to the next step.
I'm presenting a digital twin concept of the Schneider Electric. We call it the EcoStruxure Machine Expert Twin, applicable for the logistics center, warehouse, baggage handling systems, and so on. As you can see, that this is the model. It can be run on the for the training purposes, for this service purposes. It's safe and without any interaction with the humans, and it's quite safe to work on it. And without this QR code scanning, it's very safe to work in the environment around you, and you're not blind. And I can show you the architecture. If this is a real machine, this is a digital twin model of it, and this is the augmented reality goggles and what you can see. This is add-ons, and we can digital twin is running behind the scene, and this is like acts like a additional display and with the augmented reality with Android based, but we are open to all parties and different platforms. Also, I want to present for you how it works behind the scene high level architecture. While EA stands for EcoStruxure Automation Expert, that is control part, and also digital twin are two different softwares that can communicate through the Office CUI together. And then also we can use the digital twin as a service purposes. When imagine in a logistics center, there is a Christmas time, there is a Black Friday, and you wanna see how your machine is reacting and energy consumption and so on. So you can use the digital twin for this purpose as well. Please stop by and look at the Schneider website, EcoStruxure Machine Expert Twin software. Thank you very much.